But remember the word coincidence. In mathematics, it's a term that defines angles that coincide. And in mathematics, two angles that coincide are said to be angles that fit together perfectly. And we have taken a term that means something that fits together perfectly and interpret it to mean that is something that fits together and shows up accidentally or in chaos. But actually, anything that is coincidental with something else is a fit that is perfect. And there are no accidents in this universe. When you begin to access a power, you start to have an awareness that it's absurd to believe that in a universe which has an intelligence behind it, that an accident could show up. Everything is a part of the perfection of it. Everything. There are no accidents in this universe. You came in when you were supposed to, you'll leave when you're supposed to. The children that came through you or didn't come through you are all part of that perfection. Questioning it, challenging it, all it does is keep you from accessing the ability to manifest and attract into your life what you really would like to have when you begin to question it. And when you ask, now the question always comes up when I talk about these kinds of things is, well, if there is a force, and this force is a part of the perfection and there are no accidents, at what point do I have a free will? And am I making any of these decisions? And Jung answered that question brilliantly. He said, at the same moment that you are a protagonist in your own life and you're making choices, you are also the spear carrier or the extra in a much larger drama. You are doomed to make choices. And that paradox is something you have to live with. Yes, you are making choices. Yes, you have the capacity to attract into your life virtually anything you want. And yes, there is an intelligence into which you can connect that can access virtually anything you put your attention on. And yes, it's all part of the perfection of the universe. Yes, both of those things you have to live with at the same time. You have to transcend those dichotomies. But I want to speak just for a few moments about what happens when you leave ordinary levels of awareness and you leave these lower energies. When you leave the energy of the solid, where all of your problems occur, when you leave that and move into this energy of spirit, wherein you only have love to give away, as I spoke about earlier, where your response to sadness is always a higher energy of joy, where your response to doubt is always a higher energy of faith, where your response to hatred is always the higher energy of love. When you practice what Francesco taught us in that very famous prayer attributed to St. Francis, what happens when you reach these higher spiritual energies is that you start to access something in which you can see it coming. And you get outside of yourself, as I just spoke about. And that is called intuition. And that intuition is available to you, that you can practice it virtually any time in your life, but you've got to get out of these lower and slower energies because it's not accessible there. It doesn't exist there. Problems exist there. Fear exists there. Worry exists there. Guilt exists there. Hatred exists there. Anger exists there. These are all lower and slower energies. And when you listen to the 10th principle, you'll see that they're not just lower energies, but they weaken us whenever we access them and whenever we use them. But when we get outside of them, we start to get out in front. And now I suggest to you, brazenly, that you don't have to have accidents in your life. That you don't have to be a victim of crime in your life. That you don't have to live in a world of scarcity in your life. You don't have to. If you're willing to take responsibility for whatever acts of crime have come your way without guilt, if you're willing to, and just say, I own them, they're mine, I've attracted it for some reason. If you're willing to say, I have had these various accidents and I've attracted that into my life, I don't understand why, but I know that it's mine. If you're willing to say that I've attracted the wrong people into my life, people who have abused me and victimized me, and I have taught people how I'm willing to be treated, and I'm no longer willing to do that, and so I'm going to send out a different attractor energy. If you're willing just to take responsibility without guilt, I underline it. I don't want any letters, okay? I underline it. You do not deserve any of it. You have not been punished for the things that have happened in your life. You just own them. They're yours, because you can't get past them if you're waiting for something outside of you to change. You get past them by taking responsibility for them. Then what happens is you start seeing an accident coming. And many of you have had that experience. When you are in a higher frequency in your life, and you have an intuitive sense that, I know it's a green light, but I think I better stop. You know, a lot of heads nodding up and down. And something tells you, whatever it might be, something tells you, I better stop and slow down here. And zoom, there goes somebody through a red light, and you stop and you have that feeling that goes through you. You go, what was that? What was that? And you know when you can access that? When you're close to God. When you're in fear, you can't access it.
The purpose of dancing at a dance floor is not to get to someplace else on the dance floor. Your purpose isn't to end up over here. Like, this is where we're going to end up. So all of this other stuff is irrelevant. Our purpose is to get here. We don't do that. When we dance, we enjoy every single step of the dance, all of the music. And wherever we end up is where we end up. It's just like enjoying a concert. I mean, the purpose of enjoying the concert isn't to get to the end. If that was the case, then the people who conducted the fastest would be the best. And people who wrote only finales would be considered geniuses. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, that was fantastic. You see? It's like peeling a banana. You know, the purpose isn't to get to the other end. It's to enjoy every bite. And the same with life. If we, self-actualizing, fully functioning, highly spiritual people, the great teachers are people who didn't do what they did because they were going to make money off of it, because they were going to be approved of, because it was going to be enduring. They did it because it was what their heart told them they had to do. They have no investment in power or control over others. Their life is not about who I'm better than. See, true nobility is not about being better than somebody else. Everybody's better than somebody else at something and not as good as somebody else at something else. True nobility is about being better than you used to be. It's about growing in your life. That's what nobility is. And highly functioning people they're not looking into other people's lives. The last line of Candide, Voltaire's great novel, this whole story of this wanderer, Candide, this great teacher and sort of comic person. The last line, I guess we'll have to learn to cultivate our own garden. Cultivate your own garden. If other people want to grow rutabagas and you want to grow cabbage, then allow that and be independent of that. But so many people live their lives through what others are doing, how well they're doing it. Fully functioning people let go of that. That they have incredibly high energy and enthusiasm. Enthusiasm, entheos, the God within. When people say to me, what makes a great speaker? I said, be authentic and be enthusiastic. And it doesn't matter what your content is. People will love you if you're authentic and enthusiastic, if they can see the God within you. If they have no concept of failure. There's no such thing. If you take a golf ball and you put it up on a tee and you stand there and you swing at the golf ball and it dribbles off to the side, you haven't failed. You've produced a result. The question is, what do you do with the results you produce? Everything that you do produces a result. You can call it failure and say, well, I'm not good at this, I've never been very athletic, and apply all kinds of labels to yourself. But we should never, ever allow ourselves to think of ourselves as failures, nor should we ever place that label on anybody else, because you can't fail. It's just a judgment. The only difference between a flower and a weed is a judgment. It's just a judgment. And the difference between success and failure is just a judgment. You know, Edison, the great inventor, of course. You know, when asked the question, he had tried 25,000 different ways to invent a battery, and he still didn't have it. And finally someone said to him, how does it feel, someone of your stature, to have failed 25,000 times? He said, failed? I don't know anything about failing. He said, today I know 25,000 ways not to make a battery. What do you know? And every time you do something, every time you go, and it doesn't work, you learn something. And the question isn't whether you failed, it's what do I do with the results I produce? If you pick the golf tee ball up and put it back on there and say, all right, I'm going to correct that, and you do it again and again and again, eventually, if you go through the 4 pathways, if you practice the discipline and the wisdom and the unconditional love, eventually, when you surrender, you'll know how to hit a golf ball. But you'll never do it the moment you label yourself to be a failure.
And as we move up from 10,000 cycles per second on your emotional health, we move through the various symptoms of neurosis: worry, fear, anxiety, stress, tension, self-rejection, until we get to a point at point B where we are experiencing an absence of symptoms. However, we know that at any moment, one phone call or one piece of news that is not consistent with what I expect, it's called dissonance. This cognitive or emotional or affective dissonance could literally create in me a state of immobility. So the right phone call or the right action, or somebody having an accident, or somebody not doing what I think they should, or somebody even saying something to me that I dislike, or whatever it might be, and I could instantly go back into 18, 16, 14, and perhaps even 12 and 11 and 10,000 cycles per second. It's been discussed that chronic depression is something that affects as much, I've heard estimates as high as 20% of the population. That people are consuming things like Prozac and antidepressives at an alarming rate. And it's intriguing because there's no such thing as depression. I defy anyone to go out with a container and bring back any depression. The world is just the way it is, and there's no depression in it. There are only people thinking depressing thoughts, and then those depressing thoughts affecting our chemistry, our physical makeup, to a point where we become immobilized. There's no stress in our world. The world is the way it is. There are only people thinking stressful thoughts, and those stressful thoughts become our reality, our detachment from our source, our separation from our source. We start moving away from our source rather than toward it. And as we move in the opposite direction of our source, we find ourselves breaking down, being emotionally immobilized, upset, fearful, anxious, and so on. Now, as I move to my right, on this scale of emotional health, we reach a point called point C. And at point C, at 100,000 cycles per second, we understand the meaning behind Terry Cole Whitaker's title of her book. What you think of me is none of my business. That is, I am living here at a state not in which I am unaffected by, emotionally, the things that occur in my life and in the life of those I love and I'm around, but that I cannot become immobilized by them. I will not allow myself to lose my sense of balance, my sense of connection to God because of what someone out there might do, even if that someone is very, very close to me, the closest person in my life. I am independent of the good opinion of all of those around me. This is 100,000 cycles per second. Illustrative of it is a story that is told of the Buddha. And everywhere he went, he had all of these followers, but he also had people who were critical of him. And these people would find fault with him, and they would say things about him that were insulting, and they would be very inflammatory, and they would be extremely critical of him. And every time that they would behave in these ways towards the Buddha, he would respond with love, with kindness. That's all he could ever say. And one day, one of his students said to him, "I just don't understand. For days and days, these people have been so critical and so ugly in their reactions towards you, and always you still react with kindness and love. How do you do that? How does that work?" And the Buddha responded with something that I think is very, very relevant to our lives. He said, if someone offers you a gift, and you do not accept that gift, to whom does the gift belong? And that was his answer. If someone offers you a gift of their hatred, of their criticism, of their bitterness, of their tension, of their fault-finding, if they offer this to you, but you don't accept it, to whom does it belong? Why, it's theirs. And the Buddha was saying, why would you ever choose to allow yourself to become depressed, upset, immobilized over something that belongs elsewhere? It's not yours. You don't own it. What you think of me is none of my business.
I had this really stunning realization one day when I was running, and I saw someone about 30 yards ahead of me who was running. And I was thinking about this concept of the unified life and that we're all one, and seeing the big picture and seeing ourselves as all connected and that we all come from a oneness. And because we're so stuck on our separateness, and I was looking at this runner some yards ahead of me, thinking, how could it be that I am connected to that person? I don't know him. I don't know his name. I don't know anything about him. How could there be any connection between us? It was like this thing dawned on me that I am already an I that is we. In other words, I have many different life forms on me. In my eyelids, I have thousands of bacteria. In my pancreas, in my ears, and all over me, I have like thousands of these different life forms. And yet I think of myself as a singular unit, but I am made up of a lot of life, a lot of stuff that is alive. So if you can get back far enough, again, it's always a question of perspective. If you could leave Earth plane, and you can only do that in thought, and look down and try to see humanity, you would really see one body. I mean, if you could get away far enough, you would see, and it would look, as you get closer and closer and closer, just like as you get closer and closer with a microscope, into a raindrop. A raindrop looks like a raindrop until you start examining it closer and closer and closer, and then you see whole universes within one section of it that have never even had any contact with the other section of it. And so, well, that's the perspective you have to get on us all being connected. We only see it from this very tiny perspective. Now, how you can apply this in your life is just to remind yourself that just because there's a distance between you and somebody else doesn't mean that there's not a connection. That's the beauty of thought again. It wasn't, an hour ago that someone here at the studio said something to me about her father. And I said to her, well, get me your father's address and I'll send him a copy of one of my books. And she said, oh, he would really like that. And then she started talking about her aunt. And she was doing like a little imitation, and it was really funny. And she said, oh, my aunt just loves you. And she lives down in Florida. She said, she loves you. And I said, well, get me her address, and I'll send her one, too. I'd be happy to. And She didn't say anything at that moment, but then as she came to go to lunch with us, she said, "You're not going to believe this, but my father called right after I talked to you, and he gave me my aunt's address, which I didn't have before." And she said, "Isn't that a coincidence?" And I said, "That isn't any more of a coincidence than that we've been talking about this very thing right here for the last several hours here in the studio in Chicago today, that there is a connection, and that you'll see it when you believe it." And all I suggest to you is that you try it. If you pull into a gas station and somebody is right up ahead of you and they're parked in a place where you think you should be, and if they were only up at the pump a little further away, then you would be able to be happy and they would be able to be happy. Don't tell yourself that. See them as being exactly where they are, that you're connected to them, and treat them that way so that you don't treat them with anger. You accept it. It's always acceptance. It's openness and acceptance. What you do is you just pull up in front of them and back your car up a little bit and use that pump. Don't treat that person as if they were separate from you. Treat them as if they were a part of you, because they are. It's just that you can't see the perspective. You will be able to see that perspective. You'll get that when you leave this form that you're so attached to and go into another dimension. You'll see all of humanity as one. You are one of the pieces of this puzzle called humanity. And if you are missing from it, or if you're incomplete, or if you're not in harmony, then you make all of humanity incomplete. And that's exactly how important you are as a person. And if you just start thinking like that, that everybody out there that you run into is somehow, in some way, connected to you, you stop being antagonistic toward them, because you know that if you got antagonistic toward the microbes that live inside the lining of your large intestine and just didn't want them there and said, "Oh, I'm going to do everything I can to get them out of there," that would kill you. You literally need that life, that I, that is we, the self-contained unit that is comprised of all of life. You have to have all of that. It's equally true in a different level for all of humanity. And you start seeing everybody like that. And before long, you'll start seeing the connections. They'll start being there, but only when you believe it. As you listen more closely to your sacred self and transcend your ego, so too will the world ego be shifted away from power, control, and money, back to the basic virtues of higher awareness, back to peace, beauty, love, purity, tolerance, patience, and compassion. This does not mean that the benefits of technology cannot be enjoyed. It means that the ego will not be the motivating force in our lives. What we truly are as a people is a force that craves peace and simplicity. We want that deeper awareness that comes with the sanity of the higher self. It is insane to continue believing that we are a collection of tribes, each with a separate identity and a special mission. It is insane to believe that anyone who does not fit into our particular tribal mentality is a potential enemy. We know that there is not a separate God for each of us, or even for each of our tribes. We know that there is a universal divine intelligence that flows through all of us, and in that sacred space within us, we are all one and the same. We know that the best within us is love, kindness, and compassion. Yet our egos, both individually and collectively, have campaigned long and hard to promote a false idea. How sane is it for people to be killing each other over disputes that ancient egos created long before we arrived? How sane is it for us to believe that some of us deserve to eat the food that God provides, and that others do not deserve it by virtue of their geographic location? How sane is it for us to pump up our youth with the philosophy of the free ride by leading them to believe that if they want something, they deserve it? How sane is it to show our children pictures of violence as entertainment and allow them to adopt the ego belief that it is human nature to hurt others as a way to defend a right to be special and separate? As our higher selves begin to triumph over ego in the daily decision-making of our lives, we will truly be making progress on the path of the sacred quest for all of humanity. You must banish all doubt about your ability to facilitate such a quest and begin to know that you are both the microcosm and the macrocosm. There is a universe within you, a unified field of all possibilities that you can reach as you become the compassionate witness. Be silent. Shut down the inner dialogue. Most important, transcend the false self that we call the ego. That is when the healing will begin to occur. The world ego is destined to be restrained as more individuals look within and consult the higher part of themselves. The doubts are vanishing, and the spiritual revolution is well underway. Moving toward an egoless world is not some far-fetched idea, any more than the disintegration of the Iron Curtain was a far-fetched idea. To those who heard such talk a few years before it happened, it did indeed seem absurd, but ideas, thoughts, and inner knowings are powerful instruments for the disintegration of the false self. One of the simplest and most powerful ways of doing this is taught by Eknath Eswaran. Writing in his book Meditation, he advises us to spend 30 minutes every morning in meditation repeating the prayer of St. Francis. In saying this prayer, we both transcend the ego and invite the sacred self to guide us through the day. I invite you to join me in this daily prayer as we share the path of the sacred quest. The prayer of St. Francis goes like this. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. It is in dying to self that we are born to eternal life. If you have the same knowing about your world, dramatic changes will take place as we collectively put to use the greatest force in the universe, the force of love.
When enough of us as a people begin to think in certain kinds of ways and we reach a critical mass, then all the rest of us begin to align that way. And the same kind of changes that take place in the history of humanity in one place take place all over the planet at the same time. And as people begin to think this way, that the spread is not a physical property, that it's an invisible property, that indeed we are all connected, but what we're connected with is not something that we can get a hold of. As Deepak always says, quantum physics is not only stranger than you think it is, it's stranger than you can think. Because indeed, what it does is it shatters the illusion of our separateness. So that if enough of us begin to believe that something is intolerable, and we really begin to act on that and think that way and create that, because collectively the same thing is true. The state of your life is nothing more than a reflection of your state of mind, and the state of the world is nothing more than a collective state of mind. It's a state of mind. We act collectively on what we think about.
That there is an alignment that you have to make in your life. You see, there's two parts to being human. There's this form that we find ourselves in that was all handled in that split second. Like all of these hairs that are falling out was all handled in that second. That has nothing. It's like you get to this point in your life where you watch your form and you watch it on its way to closing parentheses. And it's like you get in back of it or in front of it or underneath it or around it or somewhere, and you sort of just watch it. And another wrinkle will appear, and another drooping will take place that you didn't want. You are not your form. You're something other than your form. You have to be careful when you use this on your children. I use this on my 6-year-old daughter, Summer. And she was smart-mouthing one day and just talking a little bit fast, like 6-year-olds are prone to do. And I said, Summer, you don't talk like that to your mother. She said, that wasn't me. She had been at my talk the night before. I said, what do you mean it wasn't you? She said, that was my mouth, and I'm not my mouth. So you have to be careful. But what happens is that you get to this point in your life where you literally are capable of getting outside of this form that you occupy and coming in contact with another dimension of yourself that you can't describe with words any more than you can describe the experience of water with formulas. You must know it and go within and honor it and get it. And as you do that, it comes about from this surrendering process, from this knowing and this realignment. See, if you align yourself first with the physical side, and then primarily physical and secondarily the spiritual side, then your physical world is directing, if you will, the spiritual part of your life. The thoughts, the images, the feelings, all of this part of you that is invisible come from this the physical side of you. What it takes in order to experience real magic is to realign and to align yourself first spiritually and allow your physiology then to flow from that. It's almost like you have to get outside of your body, watch it do what it has to do, allow it to go through whatever motions it has to go through, but align yourself first and foremost with this invisible part of you. Now, most people don't get this. They don't ever get in their life that this invisible part, this thing that you can call thought or consciousness or soul or whatever it is something that is real. Because it doesn't have boundaries and dimensions like the physical world, we sort of put it aside and give it a couple of hours on Sunday morning. And then when that's over, we charge out of the church lot and don't even let our neighbors in very often on our way home. But it really, what it takes is this realignment. It happened for me when my grandmother died in 1983 on April the 15th, when she was admitted to the hospital and they weighed her in her 95th year, and she knew that she was dying, and they weighed her and she weighed 133 pounds because it was one of the things that they had to do to fill out all of the forms. And what was interesting then, my grandmother died. And there was this package, this container, if you will. It wasn't my grandmother. It was cold and getting stiff and blue, and my grandmother was this beautiful soul who raised 5 children, and that's who she was. And she certainly wasn't this container. And when they weighed this container for the death certificate, it weighed 133 pounds, and there was such a powerful metaphor in that when life passes from your body, as it will, it won't weigh any less as a result. So that whatever it is that constitutes your life is weightless. You can't get a hold of your life and apply the same rules that you apply to the physicalness that houses your body. You can't do that. You have to know that your life is invisible. It weighs nothing, and yet you can never escape it. That you are not a human being having a spiritual experience at all, but that you're a spiritual being having a human experience. And the quality of that human experience is totally and completely and irrevocably tied to how you use that invisible part of your humanity.
And here are the 7 faces of intention. The first face, the face of creativity. The first of the 7 faces of intention is the creative expression of the power of intention that designed us, got us here, and created an environment that's compatible with our needs. The power of intention has to be creative, or nothing would come into existence. It seems to me that this is an irrefutable truth about intention and spirit, because its purpose is to bring life into existence in a suitable environment. Why do I conclude that the life-giving power of intention intends us here to have life and have it in increasing abundance? Because if the opposite were true, life as we know it couldn't come into form. The face of creativity intends you toward continued creativity to create and co-create anything that you direct your power of intention toward. Creative energy is a part of you. It originates in the life-giving spirit that intended you here in the first place. 2. The face of kindness. Any power that has as its inherent nature the need to create and convert energy into physical form must also be a kindly power. Again, I'm deducing this from the opposite. If the all-giving power of intention had at its core the desire to be unkind, malevolent, or hurtful, then creation itself would be impossible. The moment unkind energy became form, the life-giving spirit would be destroyed. But instead, The power of intention has a face of kindness. It is kind energy, intending what it's creating to flourish and to grow, and to be happy and to be fulfilled. Our existence is proof to me of the kindness of intention. Choosing to be kind is a choice to have the power of intention active in your life. 3. The face of love. The third of the 7 faces of intention is the face of love. That there's a life-giving nature inherent in the power of intention is an irrefutable conclusion. What would we name this quality that encourages, enhances, and supports all of life, if not love? It's the prime moving power of the universal spirit of intent. As Ralph Waldo Emerson put it, love is our highest word and the synonym for God. The energy field of intention is pure love, resulting in a nurturing and totally cooperative environment. Judgment, anger, hate, fear, or prejudice won't thrive here. So were we able to actually see this field, we'd see creativity and kindness in an endless field of love. This face of intention that is an expression of love wishes only for us to flourish and grow and become all that we're capable of becoming. When we're not in harmony with the energy of love, we've moved away from intention and weakened our ability to activate intention through the expression of love. Pierre Teilhard of Chardin put it this way, quote, "The conclusion is always the same. Love is the most powerful and still the most unknown energy of the world," unquote. The fourth face of intention, the face of beauty. The fourth of my 7 faces of intention is the face of beauty. What else could a creative, kind, and loving expression be other than beautiful? Why would the organizing intelligence of intention ever elect to manifest into form anything that's repugnant to itself? Obviously it wouldn't. So we can conclude that the nature of intention has an eternal interaction of love and beauty, and add the expression of beauty to the face of a creative, kind, loving power of intention. In order to grasp the significance of beauty as one of the faces of intention, remember this: beautiful thoughts build a beautiful soul. As you become receptive to seeing and feeling beauty around you, you're becoming attuned to the creative power of intention within everything in the natural world, including yourself. By choosing to see beauty in everything, even a person who was born into poverty and ignorance will be able to experience the power of intention. 5. The 5th face of intention is called expansion. The elemental nature of life is to increase and seek more and more expression. If we could sharply focus on the faces of intention, we'd be startled. I imagine that one of the faces we'd see is a continuously expanding expression of the power of intention. The nature of this creative spirit is always operating so as to expand. Spirit is a forming power. It has the principle of increase, meaning that life continues to expand toward more life. The power of intention is the power to expand and increase all aspects of your life, no exceptions. It's the nature of intention to be in a state of increased expression, so it's true for you as well. 6. The 6th face of intention is called unlimited abundance. This 6th face of intention is an expression of something that has no boundaries. It's everywhere at once and is endlessly abundant. It's not just huge, it never stops. This marvelous gift of abundance is what you were created from. Thus, you too share this in the expression of your life. You're actually fulfilling the law of abundance. These gifts are given freely and fully to you, just as the air, the sun, the water, and the atmosphere are provided in unlimited abundance for you. You were created from this very same unlimited abundance. The power of intention is everywhere. It is what allows everything to manifest, to increase, and to supply infinitely. Know that you're connected to this life force and that you share it with everyone and all that you perceive to be missing. Open to the expression of the face of unlimited abundance, and you'll be co-creating your life as you'd like it to be. The 7th and final face of intention is called receptivity. This is how I imagine the 7th face, the receptive face of intention. It's simply receptive to all. No one and no thing is rejected by the receptive face of intention. It welcomes everyone and every living thing without judgment, never granting the power of intention to some and then withholding it from others. The receptive face of intention means to me that all of nature is waiting to be called into action. We only need to be willing to recognize and receive. Intention can't respond to you if you fail to recognize it. You must not only become receptive to having guidance available to you to manifest your human intentions, but you must be receptive to giving this energy back to the world. As I've said many times in speeches and earlier writings, your job is not to say how, it is to say yes. Yes, I'm willing. Yes, I know that the power of intention is universal. It is denied to no one. By being receptive, I'm in harmony with the power of intention of the universal creative force. This works in so many different ways. You'll see the right people magically appearing in your life, your body healing, and if it's something that you want, even becoming a better dancer or a card player or an athlete. The field of intention allows everything to emanate into form.
And when we look at what it means to live an inspired life, it's nothing more, in my estimation, it's nothing more than finding a way for you to be in harmony with the spiritual essence from which you originated. Not just in your actions, not just in your feelings, and not just in your behaviors of attending church or being nice once in a while, in every single thought that you have. And I'd like to suggest to you that inspiration is not something that comes and goes. It's not something that you have one moment and then in the next moment it disappears. And this is a whole new look at inspiration. To me, inspiration is living in spirit at all times and catching ourselves when we find ourselves disconnected from the spirit from which all of us emanated. It's really thinking like God. It's being more in touch with that place of origination. It doesn't come and go. When you live an inspired life, you begin to feel as if you're on purpose. I guarantee you that at the end of this show, you will not have to ask the question, what is my purpose, and how do I find it, and where is it, and how come I can't get it, and why does somebody else have it, and I don't seem to get it? It always seems to elude me. These will no longer be the issues that face you about being inspired. It's really about living day in and day out from this divine perspective of watching every single thought that we have and catching ourselves when we have a thought that is inconsistent with that divine source from which we all came. So that if you have a thought that includes you and your family, but excludes someone else and their family, no matter where they are in the universe, no matter where they are, no matter what they look like, no matter what side of the river they were born on, no matter what their cultural background might be, if you have a thought that includes some and excludes others at any time, you're not in spirit. You have left spirit and moved into something else, taking on a view of yourself as someone who is separated from your source. So that you watch yourself and you catch yourself, and a big part of this program will be about watching those thoughts. Many of you know that I had a very powerful and important teacher in my life when I was a young doctoral student. He was perhaps the most significant teacher in the professions of my life. He wrote a very important book back in the 1950s called Modern Man in Search of a Soul. His name was Carl Jung, and Carl Jung had others in his life who were students of his, and one of those was Abraham Maslow. And Dr. Maslow's work on self-actualization and higher consciousness and teaching people that if you want to help another human being, you always put your attention on what it is that they can do to improve rather than on what is wrong. So you don't talk about what is missing, what is wrong, what ought to be, what used to be, unless you want more of that to continue flowing into your life. You put your intention and your attention on what it is that you want to shift and change. And he had an observation. Maslow's observation was this. He said, what is necessary? What is necessary to change a person is to change his awareness of himself. So becoming inspired is really about changing your awareness of yourself. And what does this mean? It means shifting the belief systems that you might have, the thoughts that you've had over and over and over again that say, I am limited. I don't have the talent. I don't have the background. I don't have the luck that I need in order to be able to attract what I want into my life. Things have never worked out for me before. You change your awareness of yourself and your own body and what you believe about it. Like, how could you have a body that comes from a divine source that creates from well-being and have it be anything other than beautiful? Have it be anything other than divine? Have it be anything other than perfect? A perfect creation of God, of Source, of Spirit, is what it is that you carry around with you. And if you have any other thoughts about it, then you have to really work at shifting them, because it's an insult to that from which you came. When you trust in yourself, you're trusting in the very wisdom that created you. And inspiration is about having that. It is about recognizing yourself as a genius, recognizing yourself as a person of unlimited talent and the capacity to be able to do anything. And there is absolutely nothing that I can't create if I can conceive of it in my mind and know that if I don't have the talent, that whatever talent is necessary, I can manifest it and have it show up and attract it into my life. Whatever financing is necessary, I have the ability to be able to connect myself to that. It's a knowing, it's a powerful knowing. I'd like to speak in this program about what I call the rewards for inspiration. Things that will be your payoffs, your prizes, if you decide to move into spirit, into this world of spirit that I'm speaking about here on PBS. Back in the 2,300 or so years ago, we're not quite sure exactly when, there was a great teacher in India. His name was Patanjali. And there are 6 of these things, and I want to cover each one of them in this program. He said, when you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all of your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends limitations. 3, your consciousness expands in every direction. And 4, you find yourself in a new and a great and a wonderful world. Dormant forces, faculties, and talents come alive. And 6, you discover yourself to be a greater person by far than you ever dreamed yourself to be. Those are the rewards. It's not like you're going to win the lottery. It's not, and you may. It's not that somebody's going to come riding into your life on a white horse or whatever. These are the rewards. These are the things that are going to be so powerful for you. All of your thoughts break their bonds. All of your thoughts break their bonds. What do we mean by your bonds? Your bonds are the thoughts that you have that keep you disconnected from your source. They are thoughts that are out of harmony with spirit, with God consciousness, with God realization. Because this is basically about being like God, being like Source, being like Spirit, being like Divine Mind, in everything, in every thought, in every action, more and more, connecting yourself back, catching yourself. So, the bonds are the ways that we think. I'd like you to imagine a ladder. And this ladder has 10 rungs on it, from the floor all the way up to the top of the ladder. And at the top of the ladder is the highest rung. And at the top of the ladder are the words, "This is my desire," and it's aligned with Spirit. Again, this is my desire, and it's aligned with Spirit. What is your desire? My desire is to manifest abundance into my life. Perfectly aligned. We came from an abundant source. My desire is to feel a sense of well-being in my body at all times. Perfectly aligned. My desire is to have divine spiritual relationships in my life. My desire is to get the job that I am working towards getting. My desire is to live in a place where I feel most peaceful and most loving. My desire is, and these, whatever it is, it doesn't make any difference. It's the 10th rung. It's the highest rung. It is your spirit aligned with your desire. All right? So here it is. It's right up here. Now you have to ask yourself the question, what is it that I offer up to this 10th rung desire? All right? A 10th rung has to have, in order for it to manifest and show up in your life, it has to have thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that match up to that. And if they don't match up, you get out of harmony. See, thoughts are energy. Like everything in the universe, it's energy. Einstein said that nothing happens until something moves. The mistake that most of us make is that we attract what we don't want because our thoughts are on what we don't want. Or we continue to attract what's missing in our life. We're not at number 10, we're at about number 3. And what are some of these on these lower rungs? It probably won't happen. It's very difficult. These kinds of things have never happened for me before. I don't have this kind of luck. We've got the wrong people in the White House. The economy is bad. I don't have the ability to make it happen. I don't really believe it's possible. It's about what kind of energies we have within ourselves that we offer to what our desires that are aligned with spirit in order for them to manifest.
Your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind begins to transcend the limitations that you've had before in your life, and you stop seeing yourself. You stop seeing yourself as a human being. You begin to see yourself as a spiritual being, as the spiritual essence of who you are. And you literally, Mark, you step outside of your body, and you begin to observe it, and you begin to laugh at all of the folly of it and the foibles of it and the worries that it has, and because you begin to see yourself as an infinite being, not restricted by your birth and by your death and by your height and by your weight and by your looks and all of those and all the things that you've achieved in your life and your acquisitions and all of that. You don't define yourself that way anymore. You let go of those what Patanjali called the false self, the illusionary self, the Maya. That's not who you are. Who you are is that from which you came. And as you get back into that place from which you came, you absolutely know that in harmony with God, all things are possible. I mean, it's right out of the scriptures. With God, all things are possible. Now, I don't know how many people you got on the line, but let me ask every one of you. Now, what does that leave out? It absolutely, literally leaves out nothing. There's no thing at all that is not possible. If you can conceive of it and have that knowing and stay in spirit and do it from that place of passion, and passion is just love. I mean, God is love. I mean, that's also from the scriptures. God is love, and he that believeth in love believeth in me. I mean, love and God are synonymous. God and good are one. They're the same thing. There's no difference between the two of them.
Greetings, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something that's on all of our minds' success. We all want it. But how do we know if we're on the right path? Well, I've been on this journey for a while now, and I've learned a thing or two about the signs that indicate you're headed in the right direction. So buckle up and listen closely, because these 10 signs might just be the motivation you need to keep pushing forward. First and foremost, let me tell you about the power of passion. When you're truly passionate about something, it consumes you. It's all you can think about, and you're willing to put in the work to make it happen. If you find yourself waking up every morning excited to tackle the day ahead, then you're definitely on the right track. Passion is the fuel that drives success, and without it, you'll quickly find yourself running on empty. But passion alone isn't enough. You also need to have a clear vision of where you want to go. Successful people don't just drift through life, they have a roadmap. They know exactly what they want to achieve and how they plan to get there. If you can close your eyes and see your future self living the life you've always dreamed of, then you're already ahead of the game. Having a vision gives you purpose and direction, and it's a surefire sign that you're on the path to greatness. Now, let's talk about the importance of taking action. You can have all the passion and vision in the world, but if you don't take consistent action towards your goals, you'll never get anywhere. Successful people are doers. They don't wait for opportunities to come to them, they create their own opportunities. If you find yourself consistently taking steps towards your dreams, no matter how small those steps may be, then you're well on your way to success. But taking action isn't always easy, especially when you're faced with challenges and setbacks. That's where resilience comes in. Successful people don't let obstacles stop them. They view failures as learning opportunities and use them to grow stronger. If you find yourself bouncing back from setbacks with renewed determination, then you've got the resilience it takes to make it to the top. Another key sign that you're on the path to success is that you're constantly learning and growing. Successful people are lifelong learners. They're always seeking out new knowledge and skills, and they're not afraid to step outside their comfort zone. If you find yourself constantly pushing your boundaries and embracing new experiences, then you're well on your way to achieving your full potential. But learning isn't just about acquiring new knowledge, it's also about applying that knowledge in meaningful ways. Successful people are problem solvers. They don't shy away from challenges, they embrace them. If you find yourself consistently coming up with creative solutions to complex problems, then you've got the innovative spirit that's essential for success. Of course, no one achieves success alone. Successful people know the value of surrounding themselves with positive, supportive people. They build strong relationships with mentors, colleagues, and friends who believe in their vision and push them to be their best selves. If you find yourself surrounded by a network of people who lift you up and inspire you to reach for the stars, then you're definitely on the right track. But even with a strong support system, success doesn't come easy. It requires hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Successful people are willing to put in the long hours and make the sacrifices necessary to achieve their goals. If you find yourself consistently pushing through the tough times and refusing to give up, then you've got the grit and determination it takes to succeed. Another sign that you're on the path to success is that you're not afraid to take calculated risks. Successful people know that playing it safe rarely leads to big rewards. They're willing to step outside their comfort zone and take risks, but they do so in a strategic way. If you find yourself consistently weighing the potential risks and rewards of your actions and making bold moves when the time is right, then you're well on your way to achieving your dreams. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, successful people have a positive mindset. They don't let negativity or self-doubt hold them back. They believe in themselves and their ability to achieve their goals, no matter how big or small those goals may be. If you find yourself consistently focusing on the positive and maintaining an unwavering belief in your own potential, then you're definitely on the path to success. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but what if I don't have all of these signs? Does that mean I'm doomed to fail? Absolutely not. Success is a journey, not a destination. It's not about being perfect, it's about making progress. If you're not quite where you want to be yet, don't worry. The fact that you're here listening to this message and seeking out ways to improve yourself is a sign that you're already on the right track. So keep pushing forward, keep learning, growing, and taking action towards your dreams. Surround yourself with positivity and never lose sight of your vision. Embrace challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, and don't be afraid to take calculated risks. Most importantly, believe in yourself and your ability to achieve anything you set your mind to. Remember, success isn't just about achieving your goals, it's about becoming the best version of yourself along the way. It's about discovering your true potential and living a life that's authentic, fulfilling, and full of purpose. So don't just strive for success, strive for significance. Make a positive impact on the world around you and leave a legacy that will inspire others long after you're gone. I know the journey to success can be long and challenging, but trust me when I say that it's worth it. There's no greater feeling than looking back on your life and knowing that you gave it your all, that you pursued your passions with everything you had, and that you made a difference in the lives of others along the way. So keep your head up and your eyes on the prize. Stay focused, stay determined, and never lose sight of the incredible potential that lies within you. You are capable of achieving greatness, and with these 10 signs as your guide, you're already well on your way. Remember, success is not just about reaching the top of the mountain, it's about enjoying the climb. Embrace the journey, learn from your mistakes, and celebrate your victories, no matter how small they may seem. And when you finally reach the summit, take a moment to look back on how far you've come and all the incredible things you've accomplished along the way. Starting with passion, it's important to remember that passion isn't just about enjoying what you do, it's about being willing to put in the hard work and dedication necessary to turn your dreams into reality. Passion is what gets you out of bed in the morning and keeps you going when the going gets tough. It's the fire in your belly that fuels your determination and drives you forward, even when the path ahead is uncertain. So how can you cultivate passion in your own life? Start by identifying what truly matters to you. What are your values, your interests, your unique talents and skills? What sets your soul on fire and makes you feel alive? Once you have a clear sense of what you're passionate about, start taking small, consistent steps towards pursuing that passion every single day. Whether it's reading books on the subject, attending workshops or conferences, or simply carving out time in your schedule to focus on your passion projects, make it a priority to invest in yourself and your dreams. But passion alone isn't enough. You also need a clear vision of where you want to go. Having a vision is like having a compass that guides you in the right direction and keeps you on track even when the path ahead is unclear. Your vision should be specific, measurable, and aligned with your values and passions. It should inspire you to dream big and take bold action towards making those dreams a reality. To create a compelling vision for your life, start by imagining your ideal future self. What does your life look like 5, 10, or 20 years from now? What are you doing? Who are you with? And how do you feel? You get specific and write down every detail, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. The more vivid and detailed your vision, the more powerful it will be in guiding your actions and decisions. But having a vision is just the first step. To truly achieve success, you need to take consistent action towards making that vision a reality. This is where so many people fall short. They have big dreams and lofty goals, but they fail to take the necessary steps to make them happen. They procrastinate, make excuses, or get sidetracked by less important tasks and distractions. Successful people, on the other hand, are doers. They don't just talk about their dreams, they take action towards achieving them every single day. They create plans, set goals, and hold themselves accountable for making progress. They don't wait for the perfect moment or the ideal circumstances. They start where they are with what they have, and they keep moving forward, one step at a time. So if you want to cultivate the habit of taking action in your own life, start by breaking your big goals down into smaller, more manageable tasks. Create a daily or weekly action plan and commit to taking at least one step towards your goals every single day, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. Over time, those small steps will add up to big results, and you'll be amazed at how far you've come. Of course, taking action isn't always easy, especially when you're faced with challenges, setbacks, and obstacles along the way. That's where resilience comes in. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, to pick yourself up when you fall, and to keep moving forward no matter how tough the journey may get. Cultivating resilience requires a shift in mindset. Instead of viewing failures and setbacks as permanent or devastating, successful people view them as temporary and opportunities for growth. They don't let their mistakes define them, they learn from them and use them as fuel to keep pushing forward. They have a growth mindset, which means they believe that their abilities and intelligence can be developed and improved through hard work and dedication. To cultivate resilience in your own life, start by reframing your failures and setbacks as learning experiences. Instead of beating yourself up or dwelling on what went wrong, ask yourself what you can learn from the experience and how you can use that knowledge to improve and grow. Surround yourself with positive, supportive people who believe in you and your dreams and who will encourage you to keep going even when the going gets tough. Another key aspect of resilience is self-care. When you're facing challenges and setbacks, it's easy to neglect your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. But taking care of yourself is essential for maintaining the energy, focus, and motivation necessary to keep pushing forward. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, eating a healthy diet, and engaging in regular exercise and stress-reducing activities like meditation or yoga. In addition to resilience, successful people are also lifelong learners. They recognize that the world is constantly changing and evolving, and they need to continuously acquire new knowledge and skills to stay ahead of the curve. They have a curious mindset and are always seeking out new opportunities to learn and grow, whether it's through reading books, attending workshops or conferences, or seeking out mentors and advisors. To cultivate a love of learning in your own life, start by identifying areas where you want to grow and improve. What skills or knowledge do you need to acquire to take your life or career to the next level? Once you have a clear sense of what you want to learn, create a plan for acquiring that knowledge. Set aside dedicated time each day or week for learning, whether it's reading a book, taking an online course, or attending a workshop or conference. But learning isn't just about acquiring new knowledge, it's also about applying that knowledge in meaningful ways. Successful people are problem solvers. They don't shy away from challenges, they embrace them as opportunities to learn, grow, and make a positive impact. They have an innovative mindset and are always looking for creative solutions to complex problems. To cultivate a problem-solving mindset in your own life, start by reframing challenges as opportunities. Instead of getting overwhelmed or discouraged by obstacles, ask yourself how you can use your unique skills and knowledge to find a solution. Break the problem down into smaller, more manageable parts and brainstorm potential solutions. Don't be afraid to think outside the box or try new approaches. Sometimes the most creative solutions come from unexpected places. Of course, no one achieves success alone. Successful people know the value of surrounding themselves with positive, supportive people who believe in their vision and push them to be their best selves. They build strong relationships with mentors, colleagues, and friends who provide guidance, encouragement, and accountability along the way. To cultivate a strong support system in your own life, start by identifying the people who lift you up and inspire you to be your best self. Seek out mentors and advisors who have achieved the kind of success you aspire to, and don't be afraid to ask for their guidance and support. Surround yourself with positive, like-minded individuals who share your values and goals, and who will hold you accountable for making progress towards your dreams. But even with a strong support system, success doesn't come easy. It requires hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Successful people are willing to put in the long hours and make the sacrifices necessary to achieve their goals. They have a strong work ethic and are committed to excellence in everything they do. To cultivate a strong work ethic in your own life, start by setting high standards for yourself and holding yourself accountable for meeting those standards. Don't settle for mediocrity, strive for excellence in everything you do, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. Create a schedule or routine that allows you to focus on your most important tasks and priorities and eliminate distractions that might pull you off course. Another key aspect of a strong work ethic is perseverance. Successful people don't give up when the going gets tough. They keep pushing forward, even when the odds seem stacked against them. They have a never-quit attitude and are willing to do whatever it takes to achieve their goals. To cultivate perseverance in your own life, start by breaking your big goals down into smaller, more manageable milestones. Celebrate your progress along the way and use each milestone as motivation to keep pushing forward. When you face obstacles or setbacks, don't let them discourage you. Use them as opportunities to learn, grow, and come back stronger than ever. But perseverance doesn't mean being reckless or taking unnecessary risks. Successful people take calculated risks. They weigh the potential risks and rewards of their actions and make strategic decisions based on careful analysis and consideration. They're not afraid to step outside their comfort zone and try new things, but they do so in a thoughtful and deliberate way. To cultivate a risk-taking mindset in your own life, start by identifying your comfort zone and challenging yourself to step outside of it on a regular basis. Take small, calculated risks that align with your goals and values, and use each experience as an opportunity to learn and grow. Don't be afraid to fail. View failures as opportunities to learn and improve, and use them as motivation to keep pushing forward. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, successful people have a positive mindset. They don't let negativity or self-doubt hold them back. They believe in themselves and their ability to achieve their goals, no matter how big or small those goals may be. They have an optimistic outlook and focus on solutions rather than problems. To cultivate a positive mindset in your own life, start by practicing gratitude. Take time each day to reflect on the things you're grateful for, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. Surround yourself with positive, uplifting people who support and encourage you, and avoid negativity and toxicity whenever possible. When faced with challenges or setbacks, focus on what you can learn from the experience and how you can use that knowledge to grow and improve. Remember, success is a journey, not a destination. It's not about being perfect, it's about making progress. Every day, every step, every decision you make is an opportunity to move closer to your goals and dreams. So keep pushing forward, keep learning and growing, and keep believing in yourself and your ability to achieve greatness. As I wrap up this message, I want to leave you with one final thought. Success is not just about what you achieve, it's about who you become in the process. It's about discovering your true potential, living a life of purpose and meaning, and making a positive impact on the world around you. So don't just strive for success, strive for significance. Use your unique talents and skills to make a difference in the lives of others and leave a legacy that will inspire generations to come. Because at the end of the day, that's what truly matters, not the accolades or the achievements, but the lives you've touched and the difference you've made. And always remember, you have everything you need within you to achieve your wildest dreams. You are strong, capable, and resilient. You have a unique purpose and a powerful vision for your life. And with passion, perseverance, and a positive mindset, there's no limit to what you can achieve. So go out there and make it happen. Chase your dreams with everything you've got and never give up, no matter how tough the journey may get. Believe in yourself, surround yourself with positivity and support, and take consistent action towards your goals. And most importantly, enjoy the journey. Embrace the challenges, celebrate the victories, and savor every moment along the way. Because success is not a destination, it's a way of life. It's about becoming the best version of yourself and living a life that's authentic, fulfilling, and full of purpose. And with these 10 signs as your guide, you're already well on your way. Thank you for listening. And remember, you've got this. Keep shining bright and never stop believing in yourself and your dreams. The world needs your unique gifts and talents, and I can't wait to see the incredible impact you'll make. You're standing at a crossroads, a moment in time where you have the power to make a decision that will change the course of your life forever. You've been through struggles, setbacks, and challenges that have tested your resolve and your belief in yourself. But today I want you to know that this is your opportunity to make a comeback, not just for the world to see, but as a personal apology to yourself. You see, we all make mistakes. We all have moments where we doubt ourselves, where we let fear hold us back, and where we settle for less than we deserve. But the truth is, those moments do not define us. They are simply part of the journey, part of the process of becoming the person we were always meant to be. And that's why I'm here today, to remind you of your own strength, your own resilience, and your own incredible potential. Because no matter how many times you've been knocked down, no matter how many times you felt like giving up, you have the power within you to rise again, to come back stronger than ever before. But this comeback, this moment of triumph, it's not just about proving something to the world. It's not about seeking validation or approval from others. No, this comeback is about making a promise to yourself, a personal apology for every time you've doubted your own worth, for every time you've let someone else's opinions dictate your actions, for every time you've settled for less than you deserve. Because the truth is, you are worthy of love, of success, of happiness, and of all the incredible things that life has to offer. You are worthy of a life that sets your soul on fire, that fills you with passion and purpose and joy. And the only person who can give you permission to live that life is yourself. So today, I want you to make a decision to stop apologizing for who you are, for what you want, and for the dreams that you hold in your heart. A decision to start living life on your own terms, to start chasing after the things that make you come alive, and to start believing in yourself with an unshakable conviction. Because when you do that, when you make that personal apology to yourself, something incredible starts to happen. You start to see the world through a different lens. You start to attract people and opportunities and experiences that align with your highest self. You start to radiate a confidence and a certainty that is magnetic and unstoppable. And that's when the real magic begins. That's when you start to see the pieces of your life falling into place in ways that you never could have imagined. That's when you start to realize that every challenge, every setback, every moment of doubt was simply preparing you for this moment, for this incredible comeback that you were always destined to make. But it's not going to be easy. There will be times when you want to give up, when you want to revert back to old patterns and old beliefs. There will be times when the voice of fear and doubt starts to creep back in, telling you that you're not good enough, that you don't have what it takes, that you should just settle for what you have. But in those moments, I want you to remember this: you are not defined by your past. You are not limited by your current circumstances. You are not bound by the opinions or expectations of others. You are a force of nature, a being of infinite potential, and a creator of your own reality. And when you start to live from that place, when you start to embody that truth with every fiber of your being, that's when the real transformation begins. That's when you start to see yourself as the hero of your own story, as the master of your own destiny, and as the architect of your own incredible future. So today I invite you to make a commitment to yourself, a commitment to start living life on your own terms, to start chasing after your dreams with a relentless passion, and to start believing in yourself with an unshakable faith. Because when you do that, when you make that personal apology to yourself, you open up a world of possibilities that you never even knew existed. You start to attract the people and the opportunities and the experiences that are in alignment with your highest self. You start to create a life that is rich and fulfilling and joyful beyond your wildest dreams. And that's what I want for you. That's what I know is possible for you. Because you are a being of infinite potential, a creator of your own reality, and a force of nature that cannot be stopped. So take a deep breath, close your eyes, and imagine yourself standing on the other side of this comeback. Imagine yourself as the person you've always wanted to be, living the life you've always wanted to live. Imagine yourself radiating confidence and joy and purpose, inspiring others with your light and your love. And then take the first step. Take the first step towards making that vision a reality. Take the first step towards living life on your own terms, towards chasing after your dreams with a relentless passion, and towards believing in yourself with an unshakable faith. Because that first step, that one small action, it has the power to change everything. It has the power to set in motion a chain of events that will lead you to places you never even knew existed. It has the power to open up doors and opportunities and experiences that are beyond your wildest dreams. And as you take that first step, as you start to make this comeback a personal apology to yourself, I want you to remember one thing: you are not alone. You are part of a community of people who are all on this journey together, who are all striving to live their best lives and to make a positive impact on the world. So reach out, connect with others, and surround yourself with people who lift you up, who inspire you, and who believe in you even when you don't believe in yourself, because together we are stronger. Together we can achieve things that we never thought possible. Together we can create a world that is more loving, more compassionate, and more joyful than we ever could have imagined. And as you continue on this journey, as you continue to make this comeback a personal apology to yourself, I want you to remember this: your past does not determine your future. Your current circumstances do not define your worth. Your mistakes and failures do not diminish your value. You are a being of infinite potential, a creator of your own reality, and a force of nature that cannot be stopped. And when you start to live from that place, when you start to embody that truth with every fiber of your being, that's when the real magic begins. So keep going, keep pushing, and keep believing in yourself, because you are worthy of love, of success, of happiness, and of all the incredible things that life has to offer. And when you make this comeback a personal apology to yourself, when you start living life on your own terms and chasing after your dreams with a relentless passion, that's when you start to create a life that is truly extraordinary. It won't be easy, and there will be times when you want to give up. There will be times when the voice of fear and doubt starts to creep back in, telling you that you're not good enough, that you don't have what it takes, that you should just settle for what you have. But in those moments, I want you to remember this: you are stronger than you think. You are more capable than you know. You are more powerful than you can even imagine. And when you tap into that strength, when you unleash that power, when you start to believe in yourself with an unshakable conviction, that's when you become unstoppable. That's when you start to create a life that is beyond your wildest dreams, a life that is filled with joy and purpose and meaning. So don't give up, don't back down, and don't let anyone else tell you what you're capable of. Because you are the master of your own destiny, the architect of your own incredible future, and the hero of your own story. And when you make this comeback a personal apology to yourself, when you start to live from that place of power and purpose and passion, that's when you start to inspire others. That's when you start to create a ripple effect of positivity and love and joy that extends far beyond your own life. Because your story, your journey, your comeback, it has the power to change lives. It has the power to inspire others to chase after their own dreams, to believe in themselves with an unshakable faith, and to create a life that is truly extraordinary. So don't keep your light hidden. Don't keep your story to yourself, and don't be afraid to share your journey with the world. Because you never know who you might inspire, who you might uplift, and who you might empower to make their own incredible comeback. And as you continue on this journey, as you continue to make this comeback a personal apology to yourself, I want you to remember one final thing: you are loved, you are supported, and you are never alone. No matter how dark things may seem, no matter how many times you stumble and fall, no matter how many setbacks and challenges you face, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. There is always a community of people who are cheering you on, and as you make this comeback a personal apology to yourself, as you start to live life on your own terms and chase after your dreams with a relentless passion, I want you to remember this: your journey is unique, your story is powerful, and your voice matters. You have something special to offer the world, something that no one else can bring to the table. And when you start to share that gift, when you start to use your voice and your talents and your passions to make a positive impact on the world, that's when you start to create a legacy that will live on long after you're gone. So don't be afraid to shine your light. Don't be afraid to speak your truth, and don't be afraid to be uniquely and unapologetically yourself. Because the world needs your gift, the world needs your story, and the world needs your incredible comeback. And as you continue on this journey, as you continue to make this comeback a personal apology to yourself, I want you to remember one thing: above all else, you are worthy of love, of success, of happiness, and of all the incredible things that life has to offer. You are worthy of a life that sets your soul on fire, that fills you with passion and purpose and joy. You are worthy of a love that is deep and unconditional and true. You are worthy of a success that is meaningful and fulfilling and abundant. And when you start to believe that, when you start to embody that truth with every fiber of your being, that's when the real magic begins. That's when you start to attract the people and the opportunities and the experiences that are in alignment with your highest self. That's when you start to create a life that is beyond your wildest dreams. So keep believing, keep dreaming, and keep pushing forward. Because your comeback is not just about proving something to the world, it's about making a promise to yourself. It's about apologizing for every time you've doubted your own worth, for every time you've let someone else's opinions dictate your actions, for every time you've settled for less than you deserve. And when you make that apology, when you start to live life on your own terms and chase after your dreams with a relentless passion, that's when you start to create a ripple effect of positivity and love and joy that extends far beyond your own life. Because your story, your journey, your comeback, it has the power to inspire others. It has the power to show them that anything is possible, that they too can overcome any obstacle and create a life that is truly extraordinary. So don't keep your light hidden, don't keep your story to yourself, and don't be afraid to share your journey with the world. Because you never know who you might inspire, who you might uplift, and who you might empower to make their own incredible comeback. And as you continue on this journey, as you continue to make this comeback a personal apology to yourself, I want you to remember one final thing: you are not defined by your past. You are not limited by your current circumstances, and you are not bound by the opinions or expectations of others. You are a force of nature, a being of infinite potential, and a creator of your own reality. And when you start to live from that place, when you start to embody that truth with every fiber of your being, that's when the real transformation begins. That's when you start to see yourself as the hero of your own story, as the master of your own destiny, and as the architect of your own incredible future. That's when you start to create a life that is rich and fulfilling and joyful beyond your wildest dreams. So take a deep breath, close your eyes, and imagine yourself standing on the other side of this comeback. Imagine yourself as the person you've always wanted to be, living the life you've always wanted to live. Imagine yourself radiating confidence and joy and purpose, inspiring others with your light and your love. And then take the first step. Take the first step towards making that vision a reality. Take the first step towards living life on your own terms, towards chasing after your dreams with a relentless passion, and towards believing in yourself with an unshakable faith. Because that first step, that one small action, it has the power to change everything. It has the power to set in motion a chain of events that will lead you to places you never even knew existed. It has the power to open up doors and opportunities and experiences that are beyond your wildest dreams. And as you take that first step, as you start to make this comeback a personal apology to yourself, remember that you are not alone. Remember that you are part of a community of people who are all on this journey together, who are all striving to live their best lives and to make a positive impact on the world. So reach out, connect with others, and surround yourself with people who lift you up, who inspire you, and who believe in you even when you don't believe in yourself. Because together we are stronger. Together we can achieve things that we never thought possible. Together we can create a world that is more loving, more compassionate, and more joyful than we ever could have imagined. And as you continue on this journey, as you continue to make this comeback a personal apology to yourself, remember that your story is still being written. Remember that every day is a new opportunity to create the life that you want, to chase after your dreams with a relentless passion, and to believe in yourself with an unshakable faith. So keep writing your story, keep pursuing your passions, and keep believing in yourself, because your comeback is not just about reaching a destination, it's about enjoying the journey. It's about savoring every moment, every experience, and every lesson that comes your way. And when you do that, when you start to live life with a sense of joy and gratitude and purpose, that's when you start to create a legacy that will live on long after you're gone. That's when you start to inspire others to make their own incredible comebacks, to chase after their own dreams, and to believe in themselves with an unshakable faith. So let your comeback be a personal apology to yourself, a promise to live life on your own terms and to never settle for less than you deserve. Let it be a testament to your strength, your resilience, and your incredible potential. Let it be a reminder that you are capable of overcoming any obstacle, of achieving any dream, and of creating a life that is truly extraordinary. And most importantly, let your comeback be a celebration of who you are, of all that you've accomplished, and of all that you have yet to achieve. Because you are worth celebrating, you are worth honoring, and you are worth appreciating for the incredible being that you are. So take a moment to look back on your journey, to see how far you've come and how much you've grown. Take a moment to appreciate all the challenges you've faced, all the lessons you've learned, and all the strength you've gained along the way. And then take a moment to look forward, to imagine all the incredible things that are yet to come. Because your comeback is just the beginning, it's just the start of an incredible journey that will take you to places you never even dreamed possible. So keep dreaming, keep believing, and keep pushing forward. Because your comeback is not just about proving something to the world, it's about making a promise to yourself. It's about living life on your own terms, chasing after your dreams with a relentless passion, and believing in yourself with an unshakable faith. And when you do that, when you make this comeback a personal apology to yourself, that's when you start to create a life that is truly extraordinary. That's when you start to inspire others to make a positive impact on the world and to leave a legacy that will live on long after you're gone. So let this be your moment. Let this be your turning point, and let this be the start of an incredible journey that will take you to places beyond your wildest dreams. Because you are capable of greatness, you are worthy of love and success and happiness, and you have the power within you to create a life that is truly extraordinary. So make this comeback a personal apology to yourself and never look back. Because your best days are still ahead of you, and the world is waiting for you to make your mark. So go out there and show them what you're made of, and never settle for anything less than the life of your dreams. Hey there, how's it going? You know, life can be pretty challenging at times. We all face obstacles, setbacks, and difficulties that can leave us feeling stressed, anxious, or even defeated. But what if I told you that there's a secret to navigating life's challenges with grace and ease? It's a simple yet profound idea: learn to act as if nothing bothers you. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Act as if nothing bothers me. That's easier said than done, and you're right. It's not always easy, but hear me out. When we allow external circumstances or the opinions of others to dictate our emotions and reactions, we give away our power. We let the world around us control how we feel and how we behave. But when we learn to act as if nothing bothers us, we take back that power. We become the masters of our own emotions and the architects of our own lives. So how do we do it? How do we learn to act as if nothing bothers us? Well, the first step is to recognize that we always have a choice in how we respond to the world around us. No matter what happens, no matter what challenges we face, we get to decide how we react. We can choose to let things get under our skin, or we can choose to let them roll off our backs like water off a duck. It's not about denying our feelings or pretending that everything is perfect. It's about acknowledging our emotions without letting them control us. It's about developing a sense of inner peace and resilience that allows us to weather life's storms with grace and composure. One way to cultivate this inner peace is through mindfulness and meditation. By taking a few moments each day to quiet our minds and focus on our breath, we can begin to detach from the constant chatter of our thoughts and the endless stream of external stimuli. We can learn to observe our emotions without getting caught up in them, to acknowledge our feelings without letting them dictate our actions. Another key to acting as if nothing bothers us is to develop a strong sense of self-worth and self-confidence. When we know our own value and believe in ourselves, we become less vulnerable to the opinions and judgments of others. We can stand tall in the face of criticism or rejection, knowing that our worth is not defined by external validation. This doesn't mean that we become arrogant or dismissive of others. On the contrary, when we act as if nothing bothers us, we become more compassionate and understanding. We recognize that everyone is fighting their own battles and facing their own challenges. We extend empathy and kindness to those around us, even when they may not extend the same to us. Of course, learning to act as if nothing bothers us is a process. It takes time, practice, and patience. There will be moments when we slip up, when we let our emotions get the best of us or allow external circumstances to ruffle our feathers. But that's okay. The key is to keep coming back to our inner strength, to keep reminding ourselves that we have the power to choose our reactions and responses. One powerful tool for developing this inner strength is gratitude. When we focus on the things we're grateful for, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, we shift our attention away from what's bothering us and toward what's going right in our lives. We cultivate a sense of abundance and positivity that can carry us through even the toughest of times. Another important aspect of acting as if nothing bothers us is learning to let go of the need for control. So often we get caught up in trying to control every aspect of our lives, from our relationships to our careers to our daily routines. But the truth is, there's so much in life that we simply can't control. When we learn to surrender to the flow of life, to trust that everything is unfolding as it should, we find a sense of peace and freedom that allows us to navigate challenges with greater ease. This doesn't mean that we become passive or complacent. On the contrary, when we act as if nothing bothers us, we become more proactive and empowered. We take responsibility for our own happiness and well-being rather than waiting for external circumstances to change or for others to make us feel better. We become the creators of our own reality, shaping our lives in accordance with our deepest values and aspirations. Of course, there will be times when acting as if nothing bothers us feels like a tall order. There will be moments of grief, heartbreak, or despair that threaten to overwhelm us. In these moments, it's important to remember that it's okay to feel our feelings, to allow ourselves to process and heal. But even in the midst of our darkest hours, we can hold on to the knowledge that we have the strength and resilience to weather any storm. One way to cultivate this resilience is through self-care. When we take care of ourselves physically, emotionally, and spiritually, we build up our reserves of inner strength and fortitude. We become better equipped to handle life's challenges with grace and ease, to bounce back from setbacks and disappointments with renewed determination and purpose. This might mean taking time each day to engage in activities that nourish our bodies and souls, whether that's exercise, creative pursuits, or simply taking a few moments to breathe deeply and connect with our inner selves. It might mean surrounding ourselves with supportive and uplifting people who encourage us to be our best selves rather than dragging us down with negativity and criticism. Ultimately, learning to act as if nothing bothers us is about developing a deep and abiding sense of inner peace. It's about cultivating a relationship with ourselves that is grounded in self-love, self-acceptance, and self-compassion. It's about recognizing that we are not defined by our circumstances or the opinions of others, but by the strength and resilience of our own spirits. When we learn to act as if nothing bothers us, we become a force for good in the world. We inspire others with our grace and composure, our kindness and compassion. We become a beacon of hope and positivity in a world that can often feel dark and overwhelming. So, my friends, I invite you to take on this challenge, to commit to learning to act as if nothing bothers you, no matter what life throws your way. It won't be easy, and there will be moments when you stumble and fall. But trust in the strength and resilience of your own spirit. Know that you have the power to choose your reactions and responses to create a life of joy, purpose, and inner peace. Start small. Begin each day with a few moments of quiet reflection, setting an intention to approach the day with grace and ease. Practice mindfulness and gratitude, focusing on the things that bring you joy and fulfillment. Surround yourself with people who lift you up and support your growth and well-being. And when challenges arise, as they inevitably will, remember to breathe. Remember that you have the strength and resilience to handle anything that comes your way. Remember that you are not defined by your circumstances, but by the depth and beauty of your own spirit. As you continue on this journey of learning to act as if nothing bothers you, you may find that your life begins to transform in miraculous ways. You may find that you attract more positivity and abundance, that doors begin to open where once there were only walls. You may find that you become a source of inspiration and hope for others, a living example of what is possible when we commit to living with grace and ease. So, my friends, I encourage you to take that first step, to begin the journey of learning to act as if nothing bothers you, no matter what life throws your way. Trust in the strength and resilience of your own spirit, and know that you have the power to create a life of joy, purpose, and inner peace. It won't be easy, and there will be moments when you falter and stumble. But remember that every challenge is an opportunity for growth and transformation, every setback a chance to deepen your commitment to living with grace and ease. And as you continue on this path, remember to be kind to yourself. Remember that you are a work in progress, that growth and transformation take time. Celebrate your victories, no matter how small, and learn from your missteps and mistakes. Above all, remember that you are not alone on this journey. There are countless others who are walking the same path, who are committed to living with grace and ease in the face of life's challenges. Seek out their support and guidance and offer your own in return. Together, we can create a world of greater peace, compassion, and understanding. Together, we can learn to act as if nothing bothers us, no matter what life throws our way. Together, we can inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of positivity and transformation that reaches far beyond ourselves. So, my friends, I invite you to join me on this journey, to commit to learning to act as if nothing bothers you, no matter what life throws your way. To trust in the strength and resilience of your own spirit, and to know that you have the power to create a life of joy, purpose, and inner peace. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Every step you take, every challenge you face, every moment of grace and ease you cultivate will bring you closer to the life you were meant to live. A life of joy, purpose, and inner peace. A life in which nothing can bother you, no matter what comes your way. So take that first step, my friends. Begin the journey of learning to act as if nothing bothers you. Trust in the strength and resilience of your own spirit, and know that you have the power to create a life beyond your wildest dreams. And remember, you are not alone. We are all on this journey together, all committed to living with grace and ease in the face of life's challenges. Together, we can create a world of greater peace, compassion, and understanding. Together, we can inspire others to do the same. So let us go forth, my friends, with courage and conviction. Let us learn to act as if nothing bothers us, no matter what life throws our way. Let us trust in the strength and resilience of our own spirits and know that we have the power to create lives of joy, purpose, and inner peace. The journey ahead may be long and winding, but every step we take brings us closer to the life we were meant to live. Every challenge we face, every moment of grace and ease we cultivate is a testament to the strength and resilience of the human spirit. So let us walk this path together, my friends. Let us support and encourage one another, celebrating our victories and learning from our missteps. Let us be a beacon of hope and positivity in a world that can often feel dark and overwhelming. And above all, let us remember the power we hold within ourselves. The power to choose our reactions and responses, to create lives of joy, purpose, and inner peace. The power to act as if nothing bothers us, no matter what comes our way. For when we learn to live with grace and ease, when we learn to trust in the strength and resilience of our own spirits, there is nothing we cannot achieve. There is no challenge we cannot overcome, no dream we cannot make a reality. So let us go forth, my friends, with open hearts and minds. Let us embrace the journey ahead, knowing that every step we take brings us closer to the life we were meant to live. Let us learn to act as if nothing bothers us, and in doing so, create a world of greater peace, compassion, and understanding. The power is within us, my friends, the power to transform our lives and the world around us, the power to live with grace and ease, no matter what comes our way. So let us seize that power and use it for good. Let us be the change we wish to see in the world, one moment of grace and ease at a time. Let us inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of positivity and transformation that reaches far beyond ourselves. For when we learn to act as if nothing bothers us, when we learn to trust in the strength and resilience of our own spirits, there is no limit to what we can achieve. There is no dream too big, no challenge too great, no obstacle too insurmountable. So let us dream big, my friends. Let us embrace the journey ahead with courage and conviction, knowing that every step we take brings us closer to the life we were meant to live. Let us learn to act as if nothing bothers us, and in doing so, create a world of greater peace, compassion, and understanding. The power is within us, my friends, the power to transform our lives and the world around us, the power to live with grace and ease, no matter what comes our way. So let us use that power wisely and with great love and compassion. Let us be the light in the darkness, the hope in the face of despair, the strength in the midst of weakness. For when we learn to act as if nothing bothers us, when we learn to trust in the strength and resilience of our own spirits, we become a force for good in the world. We become a beacon of hope and positivity, inspiring others to do the same. So let us go forth, my friends, with open hearts and minds. Let us embrace the journey ahead, knowing that every step we take brings us closer to the life we were meant to live. Let us learn to act as if nothing bothers us, and in doing so, create a world of greater peace, compassion, and understanding. The power is within us, my friends, the power to transform our lives and the world around us, the power to live with grace and ease, no matter what comes our way. So let us use that power wisely and with great love and compassion. Let us be the change we wish to see in the world, one moment of grace and ease at a time. Let us inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of positivity and transformation that reaches far beyond ourselves. For when we learn to act as if nothing bothers us, when we learn to trust in the strength and resilience of our own spirits, there is no limit to what we can achieve. There is no dream too big, no challenge too great, no obstacle too insurmountable. So let us dream big, my friends. Let us embrace the journey ahead with courage and conviction, knowing that every step we take brings us closer to the life we were meant to live. Let us learn to act as if nothing bothers us, and in doing so, create a world of greater peace, compassion, and understanding. The power is within us, my friends, the power to transform our lives and the world around us, the power to live with grace and ease no matter what comes our way. So let us use that power wisely and with great love and compassion. Let us be the light in the darkness, the hope in the face of despair, the strength in the midst of weakness. For when we learn to act as if nothing bothers us, when we learn to trust in the strength and resilience of our own spirits, we become a force for good in the world. We become a beacon of hope and positivity, inspiring others to do the same. So let us go forth, my friends, with open hearts and minds. Let us embrace the journey ahead, knowing that every step we take brings us closer to the life we were meant to live. Let us learn to act as if nothing bothers us, and in doing so, create a world of greater peace, compassion, and understanding. The power is within us, my friends, the power to transform our lives and the world around us, the power to live with grace and ease no matter what comes our way. So let us use that power wisely and with great love and compassion. Let us be the change we wish to see in the world, one moment of grace and ease at a time. Let us inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of positivity and transformation that reaches far beyond ourselves. For when we learn to act as if nothing bothers us, when we learn to trust in the strength and resilience of our own spirits, there is no limit to what we can achieve. There is no dream too big, no challenge too great, no obstacle too insurmountable. So let us dream big, my friends. Let us embrace the journey ahead with courage and conviction, knowing that every step we take brings us closer to the life we were meant to live. Let us learn to act as if nothing bothers us, and in doing so, create a world of greater peace, compassion, and understanding. The power is within us, my friends, the power to transform our lives and the world around us, the power to live with grace and ease no matter what comes our way. So let us use that power wisely and with great love and compassion. Let us be the light in the darkness, the hope in the face of despair, the strength in the midst of weakness. For when we learn to act as if nothing bothers us, when we learn to trust in the strength and resilience of our own spirits, we become a force for good in the world. We become a beacon of hope and positivity, inspiring others to do the same. So let us go forth, my friends, with open hearts and minds. Let us embrace the journey ahead, knowing that every step we take brings us closer to the life we were meant to live. Let us learn to act as if nothing bothers us, and in doing so, create a world of greater peace, compassion, and understanding. The power is within us, my friends, the power to transform our lives and the world around us, the power to live with grace and ease, no matter what comes our way. So let us use that power wisely and with great love and compassion. Let us be the change we wish to see in the world, one moment of grace and ease at a time. Let us inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of positivity and transformation that reaches far beyond ourselves. For when we learn to act as if nothing bothers us, when we learn to trust in the strength and resilience of our own spirits, there is no limit to what we can achieve. There is no dream too big, no challenge too great, no obstacle too insurmountable. So let us dream big, my friends. Let us embrace the journey ahead with courage and conviction, knowing that every step we take brings us closer to the life we were meant to live.